competence is confidence. So if you are competent about something, you automatically have the confidence to do it.
Hello, I would like to welcome you all to Forget Not Your Past Table Talk. And today we have a special guest, my own brother, a friend. So I would like you to welcome him as he comes to the stage. Hello, very much.
This is the fact.
You are very welcome.
Thank you very much for the invite. It's my pleasure to be part of today's program. Thank you.
I'm happy. We are talking today about, I would like to know your little bit, your background, how you make it. Like you mentioned before, you are here 30 years now, long time ago, right? Tell us a little bit about where you are coming from.
Okay, thank you very much again. It's my pleasure to be part of today's program. And like we were saying before, I just realized like on the 31st of last year that I'm already 30 years in this country. So of course 30 years is a very long time, and then that 30 years goes also very fast depending on what you're doing.
Right.
And just to a little bit about myself, I'm Amos Omoruyi. I'm from Nigeria. I came when I was 25. So, and I can still say I was privileged when we came those days. We could do one or two things to kind of increase our knowledge. So for me, one of the first things I really knew I need to do was to learn the language. It's just the key. We come from an English-speaking country, and then you find yourself in a different country that doesn't speak English. So we know that basically the key to every success in any country you go to is the language. I know that I just want to use this opportunity to say to most of the younger people, no matter how difficult the language is, do your best to learn it. Not just learn to listen, learn to read, and learn to write. It's just, okay, you might not have the same level like someone that was born here,
That's right.
but do your best to have that skill of being able to read, write, and converse with people. And that will be the key to saying that will open the door to what you like to do later. So basically for me, the first thing I just started to do when I came here was like learning the language, doing all the language courses, not just with the father just to learn it and speak it, but I wanted to write it. I wanted to be able to say do some further education or do some training, which would definitely need the language. So for me, the language was just the key of of going forward. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Very good example. I mean, if you are in some country and you are a stranger, you have to do your best to know at least what is in the country, so that you can achieve your future. Very well. So you mean when we was working together in the Hotel Central Plaza, right? So that time you were still making school, or
because we all know how we all came in, having to do some asylum program to be able to stay here. But that was just the entry point. That was not where we were going to stay. So for me, when I was with you with the Central, I started to do the language school. First, I did it just to understand the common conversation and everything. Then I said, okay, I want to take it to a higher level. So I did the Goethe Prüfung, which is different now. Today they grade them with A1, B, A, B, C, D in level now. But then it was not graded that way. So you have some kind of certificate you have to do to accredit you to certain kind of level of. So I have to do all those things, and then because of the German I said before, I was able to say, okay, let me go into KfV, into like Schule, and then I just went to see what can I do with the level of German I had. Then I went to Migros Club Schule, and then I said, okay, I could continue here. And then I remember in the beginning, like I can say, it was not an easy time because then we were working with a lot of dictionary then I have to read like a page. It will take me almost an hour because I'm reading every single word I'm checking out in the dictionary.
Yeah,
Today you can just go to Wikipedia or whatever, or your mobile phone. You can translate a lot of stuff.
Right.
Then you couldn't translate. There was no mobile phone even like today. So everything was just paper. It was just like a manual. So it wasn't an easy thing, but the determination to learn the language was just there.
Okay.
So that was where I just started to do like what we call today Vita Pinto. I did the Chule, then I went to do CAFA with business school Zurich. Okay. And I just built on it and built on it. And so when I was doing cleaning job, 9 shift, we start at 7 o'clock in the evening. Yeah. Well, after the restaurant is closed and everything is, hotel is now kind of calm. Myself and Stephen, then we just started to polish the marble floor, clean the room, do all those stuff, stay all night. If there's a guest that needs something at night, we'll provide whatever they need. And I remember going home 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
That you start work at 10 in the evening, all night, and then it was not easy.
And you have to study as well.
During the day, before I start again at 10, I have my school, which I went to. So it was like, because I just knew that was just temporal. It's not what I want to stay long doing. So I know that the key was to keep developing myself. I didn't do a big education in Nigeria. I just had what we call today would be like an A level, which is like Motura in Nigeria. So I didn't study. I can say to everybody, look, I don't have university education like most of my friends, but you can still go far without having university education. But it's just the determination you have for yourself.
I love that point because many people think that one have to come from university, from back home, and then maybe when you travel you can make it. But I like that part that you said that you didn't have that qualification, but determination was there, and you know that you can make it. You see, so with the help of God, you made it. And now I think I would say you are doing really, really a lot of business that university people cannot do it. Maybe if I have to put it in that way.
The thing is like, there's also, I always encourage people, that's what I also got in this Swiss system, it's not always a university. If you look at it, those who went to study university and have MBA and everything, they are always working for a company. But those who have their own company, and normally those who did handwork, sole proprietor. A painter has his own company, a bricklayer has his own company, whatever those kind of jobs and professions, they have their own company. They have 10 people, 20 people, 50 people. But those guys that have MBAs, they are working for a big company. They work for big company, but they are working for people. Working for UBS, working for Credit Suisse, working for ABB. Okay, you do get good salary, but you are working for somebody.
It's like you are still under somebody, right?
But if you really want to be on your own and be able to explore the possibility of being an employer yourself, most times it's not always university that will bring you there. It's just a determination and what you like to do, and seeing that every opportunity or any level you are, there's always an opportunity to build on it. So for me, today I also have my own private firm. I do because I went into afterwards to accounting, to CAFA, I said the whole education on the financial area. Worked for a company for 22 years, and I thought, why not start my own business? So about 5 years ago, I started doing my own business. We call it trust business in English, which is a joy hand, where I have clients. I have companies that I do accounting for. Small, I don't care. Could be just one person company. Could be 20-person employee company. I just have a range of different clients, from construction company to indies, like a small pizza hut that I do the accounting for. So basically for me it was just like, I want to be able to do something myself.
Oh, that's good.
And whatever skill you have, you also kind of find out, is there a possibility of doing something yourself? And again, for me, what I also encourage to people is like, find out things, you know, because sometimes a lot of people, they would like to do things because they don't have the information. They just let it water down. They just keep doing the same thing. But if you kind of find out, investigate, check out possibility, call in places, you find that some of the things that you need, you already have it, but you just didn't know you have it. You know, so that your inquisitiveness to learn and find out something is also very, very important.
So do you think that sometimes, like finding out, okay, let's say for you yourself, example, do you have sometimes difficulties? You know, it's like sometimes you want to do something, and it's like you are trying, you are, you know, making research and everything, and you see sometimes, especially here in Europe, you know, there are many times that you don't have somebody really to, you know, share your idea with, and let's say a young girl or a young boy, or let's say even adults, you know, how do you do it? How did you manage it? Like, I'm sure you was having like up and down, like sometimes you think it's not going to work, or it was always like easy to go. Or...
So I think with that question is very interesting, you know, because I'll just give that part grace to God and say thank you, Lord, for the opportunities that I had, you know. But for me, it was like there was two things to that, you know. In the beginning, my wife was not the type that plays and like I say, you go now like mama, you know. She just didn't assist me. She said, "Go face the society and learn to be independent." You know, I remember in the beginning, you know, I'll say, look, some of my friends, you know, their wives will call in to the company to see if there's a job for my husband, or they'll help write application for their husband. I say, but you never assist me. I said, no, I know why. Because if you can do it yourself, and if there's a mistake, you learn how to resolve that mistake. It just make you more firm in that society. So what she did was like, if you write the application, I can correct it, but I will not write it for you. Okay. If you call, if whatever they say, you can tell me, we can discuss it, and you call back again. So what she was just doing was like, face the society yourself. That's the best way you can learn. So for me, I just had a lot of, when I have questions today, one of the advantages I have today, regardless of how high the office is, it could be the Bundeshaus or whatever, I can walk in there and ask what I want. Because I kind of learned to always just go in there and ask, you know. Most of these answers are there, you know, because for instance, you want to register a company. And you say, I don't know, I'll ask somebody. Okay, Google, how do I register a company? Oh, you have to call in on this register and give them a call. Somebody there will talk to you and say, okay, you need A, B, C, D. Okay, write them down what you need. Then how do I find it? Then go to that office, I get A. I go to that office, I get B. Okay, I need to certify them. Okay, I go to Notariat. I certify them. You know, it's like not being afraid to do it yourself.
That's right.
You know, a lot of people always, you know, we come from this African culture, we always want people to help us. We want somebody to give me advice, somebody to tell me, I know, I'll assist you.
And sometimes even they lead you to wrong way.
And sometimes it might be a wrong information.
Wrong information.
So if you just do it yourself, you know, find out, you can speak to somebody that did it. So look, bro, how did you do this thing? You can tell you, but don't say do it for me.
That's right.
They just get the information, add it to what you have, research your own thing, go and do it. Talk to it. Even, I mean, with my professional work, you know, there are sometimes I have to do some tax, paper for some company or personal tax, and I have no idea how to resolve that issue. I just call somebody from the Steueramt and say, look, I have this situation. What would you recommend I do? And they say, okay, no, because of this, they give you the information.
That's right.
Because you think, oh, it's Beherde, you don't talk to them, then you don't have the information, just ask. And people are really, really open to tell you what you need.
Okay.
But if you have to find out from your own inquisitiveness that you want to know, that nobody has it all. And then, even I remember there was a situation where it had to do with some very big amount in terms of tax, and I told the woman, look, this is the issue, this is the issue. She said, but no, you are not allowed to do it that way, but you can do it this way. Then she was also giving me the tip how to do it to make it cut, you know. So it just like talk to them, and they will tell you how to do it, you know, even though it's also disadvantageous to them, but they just tell you, okay, you know, you cannot do it this way, but you can do it this way, this way you can report it this way. Though, but you know, don't say I tell you, but you can do it that way.
Right.
So it's just a matter of going and asking and finding out yourself.
That's right. And I also think that always God, like you said before, you give all the glory to God. It's like always God will lead you to a particular person to speak with. And it's always like the favor open that door for you, you know. So what you are trying to say is like one should not be afraid. You know, we are here for purpose. Okay. So it's the one have to be a persistent, keep on asking
and doing your best.
And doing your best. You know, don't wait for somebody to help you, somebody to give you advice before you move. I think that when you are in some place, you see the opportunity. And like you say, sometimes you have without knowing that you have. So you have to just go forward and take the thing that belongs to you. That's amazing.
Exactly. I can even have like a small testimony to that topic. You know, like when I was doing the beginning, learning everything, and I did the whole 2 years training school with 100 children and everything, and I didn't pass the German. You know, I didn't get the 4. You need to get 4+ to get, you know. And so I need to repeat German. Of course, it was clear that was my biggest difficulty. And then, because I'm the foreigner in the class, I was the only person that have to repeat it. It's okay. So, and the day I went to repeat it, I was just the only person doing the paper again with this examiner and the lady. And she told me, you know, I know you are a foreigner, you are struggling, you know. If you have any question, ask me. That was God's favor. So I could do certain things, and I didn't understand that this part or the question, and I just asked her. She just explained the question for me, and 1, 2, 3, then I could pass it. So what I'm trying to say there is like God also have a way of providing people along the way if you are willing to learn. You know, so God will just put people on your path that will just help you get through that hurdle for that moment. So that for me, that woman was just like helping God, using her to help me pass the German, and then from there I could have the full paper to continue with the studies. That's
right. I think that we are here for something. Now we are talking about, let's say you was having a little bit of education. You say it's not about university, but maybe a little bit. And let's say somebody who was not, you know, educated at all, maybe let's say elementary or maybe not elementary. Do you think that that person also can do something, you know, if God opened the door, the person is in Europe or whatever? Can the person also be, like, learn something like German and become... because now we are living in education world.
I think, again, regardless of your level, you know, like, from home, not everybody went, like I said, university, even not to secondary school level or even primary school level. So people are different. So you cannot put everybody in the same box, you know. I think at the end of the day, it depends on what you want for yourself. If you are happy in the level you are, and you are happy, you are satisfied with the life you live, okay, you know, it's a matter of where you are. Are you happy where you are? So if you feel like, oh, the kind of job I do, I would love to do something more because I think I have the capacity to do more, then don't let the situation stop you. You know, so for me, it's always like, because I always tell people, or my people in Nigeria, you know, sometimes people always ask you for advice. I say, look, this is how I would do it. I don't say you should do it the way I do it, but this is how I would do it. But how will you do it? So you take what I tell you, add it to what you think, and come up with your own solution. It is only when you come up with your own personal solution, like you personalize your solution, that you can really do it. I know that we have a culture whereby people are very obedient. You know, my father wants me to be a doctor, so I studied to be a doctor. My father wants me to be a lawyer. Actually, I would have loved to be an artist. But because my dad wants me to be a lawyer, so I've been struggling with this legal school for the past 20 years. No, what do you want to do? And I also advise our African parents, you know, don't put your child in your own box. find out what your child is better in, and let that child come up with what they love to do, and encourage them to do it. And but encourage them to go higher in that which they want to do.
Right.
So it's not like somebody waiting for somebody to tell you what to do.
That's
but
right.
first of all, find out what you like to do.
Right.
And
That's
encourage your child or your children, to go in that path. Because,
That's right. One thing I want to say, like you say that about the African parents, if the child, the more they are growing, the wisdom come, So it's like they have to take it day by day, step by step. Your own is to encourage them, but don't force them. We have that kind of line also that Brother Amos' son or daughter or Fatih's son is this, daughter is this. So
you should do the same.
I want my daughter or my son to do the same. That's the one that killing us.
Yeah.
You see. So I think that is, what do you think? Like you said, that we have to just let them, by encourage them to do well, but not present them to do something that is like they want to be a doctor, you want them to be pilot and all this one. Doesn't make sense.
A situation where we don't even trust the ability of our children. If you realize that every child has its own way of thinking, personality, and sometimes we don't trust that they can handle certain kind of situation themselves. So I think it's fair. So what I will say to that is like, trust that your child is not stupid and has ability to think for himself. And first, listen to what the child would like to do. Like engage in a conversation. Say, for instance, there are some kids, if they're in the third year in secondary school, where they start to choose their profession. They're not sure, do lere, or should I do guinea prüfung, or if I want to do lere, what kind of, just talk with the child and say, okay, what do you like? What excites you? Like this kind of profession. If you say, okay, I like, let's say fashion design, whatever. So why do you like fashion design? The child will begin to think why and what. What I'm trying to say here is like, let's try to look at it from the child view, not from our personal view. So if the child is able to articulate what they want, then encouraged to become the best fashion designer. But sometimes we don't trust that our kids can make good decisions. And I think that's just like one of those African things. We always think we have to tell them the best way to go because we are older and we are wiser, which is true because we've gone through some experiences in life that we have learned from. So we are able to pass in the knowledge. So you can pass in knowledge, but let that person make the decision. It's only that personalized decision that person will have the passion to drive it. Otherwise, we keep saying, oh, have you read your book today? Oh, have you done this today? The child says, But if that child personalizes the desire to do that thing, you see the child will do it with his own zeal. So that's just one of my contribution to that.
That's good. And I personally believe that when they start something, what they think is good, and if it doesn't work, we have so many opportunities. They can turn also around and do something different. So which we have to try our best to encourage them always, no matter what small-ish it look like, right? We have to encourage them, tell them you can do it. And then because sometimes there's something small would become big, you see. So we have to have trust in them.
Exactly, and just to add to that again is, as parents, we know that as Africans and foreigners, we don't have the same opportunities like a Swiss indigene, in terms of language, in terms of, like for instance, the school system is so built that it is a collaboration between the school and the parents. And again, if you are coming from parents that doesn't have that educational level to be able to interact with the teacher, or go through the homework of your child and you don't know how to help your child, and the child has questions at school, doesn't have the time to ask, at home, it doesn't have the parents to ask. So this is also an area where we also, as parents, look, if you think your child is struggling in terms of the educational system and requirements because of the language of everything, also reach out to your friends. Like, you can call me or you can say, okay, I have my child I can say, okay, where do you live? I can try to find out, is there a teacher that you can engage that can come to your house, or your child can go to once a week to get a brush up in mathematics or in language. We don't just sit there and say, okay, like in Africa, you send the child to school, and whatever happens between the child and the school is the school problem. No, you have to be proactive and see how can I help my child if I cannot help that child personally because of my own language limitation. So what I'm trying to say, if we cannot help the child, we find how we can assist through somebody we know, through an external teacher, or through so many people. We have a lot of contact now. We've been here for over 30 years.
That's
so
right.
We know a lot of people,
Right.
friends, wives or friends that can give us information on how to help the child. So what I'm trying to say is if you notice that a kid is struggling, don't just fold your hands and say, yeah, I cannot help. But also be proactive.
I think this is really a point to help so many people, especially we those who are coming from other countries.
Yeah.
I believe in asking.
Yeah.
Because you have to know that if you don't have that chance, you must ask.
Yeah.
And it's always somebody
That
who
can
is
help.
there to help.
Yeah.
You see, so for me, I think that, like you said, don't fold your hands back. Keep on asking, because you never know. It can be even your neighbor.
Exactly.
But if you don't, the same house. But if you don't ask, how can you know my neighbor can help? So I think it's very important that we have to give ourselves chance to let people help us as well in our children life and
you
everything.
even be surprised that in the same house you live, there's a teacher there.
That's
I remember one of the neighbors, they were just talking. I said, my son, they have difficulty in school, and then even though my wife was a teacher. So with all those talk, my wife ended up teaching those boys twice a week, like 2 hours a week or so, every day. So
for free.
she just went to their house, or they come down to her house for about an hour. Then she'll go through with them with their English and with whatever the question they had. So sometimes you might just have a solution very close to you.
But
if you don't ask, you don't find
You
out.
don't find it. You see, so I always tell people that there is a reason that the Bible said, ask, search, knock. So when you ask and you don't get it, keep on knocking. Keep on searching.
Exactly.
We have to just be open-minded.
Yeah.
If you cannot, I'm sure you can ask somebody
Who else can assist?
who else, that's right, can assist. But the thing is, many people, the thing that the enemy make everybody weak is we are afraid of asking.
Yeah.
So is it problem when you ask and you fail?
I think it's the things like you have to in your mind say it's no problem to get a no. It's not. People don't ask because they said, oh, maybe he will say no. Okay, you can say no, that I don't have that, I don't have this, but it's not a problem to receive no. Receive no is that person is not able, and you accept and respect that. Then you ask the next person, the third person, the fourth person. By the time you ask the fifth person, you say, oh yes, I have some extra time, let me come with you. So it's just like be persistent, in what you want and what you like to do. Like I said before, for me, I just believe in doing things. If I have an idea and I think I can do it, then I try to do it. Somebody said, competence is confidence. So if you are competent about something, you automatically have the confidence to do it. Or if you say you don't have confidence in talking to people, learn to talk to person or people. Once you start doing it and you are competent about doing it, you have the confidence to continue doing it. So it's just two words that play together. So build your competence and you have confidence in whatever you do.
That's very good. I hope that it will encourage our sisters and brothers. And so the last question I want to ask you. You say that you do cow farm, and now you are having your own company about 5 years now. So can you encourage somebody?
You can, you have so many things you can do. Like the basic thing is first the language and the desire to learn and to do things. Again, there are also different things you can do. I know a friend of mine who went to he was working with a gardening company, and from gardening he started to do gardening school. to the essence of having the Eidgenössischen Fachausweis as a gardener, which is the federal certification of gardening in Switzerland as a Nigerian, right? And he now built his own company. I mean, he has a gardening company, he has learnings, he has everything, you know.
Wow.
The very people see him because he's so much busy, it's a lot to do, you know. So basically, it's like whatever you like to do, just take it to the level where you can get the best of yourself. Somebody said, you know, try to be the best version of you in whatever you do.
And I think you have to cherish what you have.
That's it.
You appreciate it. Like, I'm a gardener, I'm a carver, but I can make something out of
it.
that.
You know, if you can be working in, let's say you work in a restaurant for over whatever years, or you be cooking, whatever, then you can say, look, maybe there's something I can take out of this experience. I've been working in Gasgewerbe for 20 years. Maybe there's so many other small food trucks. You know, you can come up with an idea. It's okay, if I want to work on food trucks, I want to do something special. In what area? What can I do? You know, I think not everybody has that entrepreneurship personality. We want to be a founder, do something for themselves. You know, but if you do, there's so many things you can. Whatever area you are, you can always branch out into something. And then with time, you say, okay, look, I want to do the painting school and get certification in the painting. Then you learn the language. Then you move on. Then, you know. For me, maybe it's just the way my mind is set. My mind is so set that whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. Wow. If you really, really want to do it.
You don't have to be lazy. Like you say, you have your own company, what you make like a tax for people.
Yeah, I have the
so now
one,
you have about 3 or 4, right? So it's like, you see, like you said, you don't have to be afraid of giving your card to people. Because at the end, you want to achieve something, isn't it? Look at what God has done. You see, He have done so many things for us that we too, we have to give to others. You know, encouraging one another that we belong to one another. That's good. So I thank you so much, Brother Amos. I'm short of words. I think today, our topic is like encouraging people just to keep on asking. You see, like you say confident, then you are confident. You see, it's like, don't be afraid of asking.
Yeah.
So I think the whole world, if everybody can humble themselves and be asking, you say that if you ask one person, if you didn't work, go to the second, third, fourth, maybe the fifth one. Even if it's 100, it's no problem. Just keep on asking so that you will know what you want to do, right? So I want to say thank you very, very much.